So as you guys know, there was an Austin Metcalf protest today. And right from the get-go, I made it very, very clear how I felt about this protest. I felt like it had Fed, PSYOP written all over it. I'm not saying that it is or that it was. What I'm saying is that, at least in my opinion, it looked like a possible setup to me. Especially when you consider the fact that at the exact same time that these Austin Metcalf protest flyers started spreading online, at the exact same time, a Karmelo Anthony protest flyer started circulating online as well. A counter protest, if that's what you want to call it, planned for the exact same day, at the exact same time, literally right next to the Austin Metcalf protest. So it appeared that there was someone behind the scenes that was trying to stir up trouble, that was trying to cause chaos, that wanted some sort of racial violence in the streets. Now, to be clear here, I am not saying that the people who organized the Austin Metcalf protest are all in on some sort of scheme to trap people. That's not what I'm trying to say here. I do not know the people who organized the Austin Metcalf protest. But what I do know is this: protests and movements are often or almost always hijacked, okay? There's always plants at these events that are trying to cause trouble. It's like people learned nothing from January 6th. But I think everyone who's been following this case, and especially those of us who have been covering this case, we've kind of been on the edge of our seats for the last couple of days here, because no one really knew what was going to go down today. And folks, today could have been really bad. Okay? I think everyone needs to understand and realize that today could have gone much differently. Today could have been really, really bad. But luckily, these protests today were largely uneventful. Not many people showed up. The biggest, craziest thing that happened was a couple of Karmelo Anthony supporters got arrested. One woman brought a knife to the protest because this is the world that Karmelo Anthony's supporters have created for us. So one woman brought a knife to the protest, was antagonizing the pro-Austin Metcalf side, and she pepper sprayed someone in the face. But that's like the biggest thing that happened today, luckily, right? But as this protest was playing out, the man who organized the protest actually had a conversation, a very, very quick conversation with Austin Metcalf's father. And I want to play a clip for you all so you all can hear this conversation. But before I do, people often ask, how can they support the channel? The answer to that question is very simple. You can support the channel by hitting that like button, sharing this video on X, Facebook, Instagram, whatever social media platform you're on. It always helps the channel if you share the video. Be sure to drop a comment. Become part of the conversation. All opinions are welcome here. The freedom of speech exists in my comment section still, unlike a lot of other people's comment sections. And these are just free ways you can support the channel. But if you do want to take your support one step further, you could always send a super thanks or a cash app. It's always greatly appreciated. But with that being said, there was a conversation that went down, and before I give you my thoughts on it, I want you guys to hear it for yourself. You let me know your opinion down in the comments as you listen, and then I'll be right back to give you my opinion. Go ahead and roll the clip.
would you be willing to stand by me in a press conference or in an individual interview and talk about this issue that is larger than Austin at this point? God rest the beautiful young man's soul that would have been one of our strongest voices if he was still alive today. Yes, I am, sir.
Okay, my turn to speak. You are part of the fucking problem, my friend. You're trying to create more race divide than bridging the gap. I do not condone anything you do. You do not have any fucking...
That's called white guilt.
No, let it talk.
But my son, let me finish. I give you your time. You take my son's face off your website. I am not associated with you.
You're creating more Austin Metcalfs with your weakness, sir.
Thanks.
You are creating more Austin Metcalfs with your weakness.
Here, you are being weak. I gotta be honest with you about that, sir.
You're being weak. Condemn your son's killer and the culture that caused it.
Hey, Jeff.
That's the problem. You've been submitted.
Hold on, hey, Jeff.
You've been submitted.
I'll handle it from here.
You've been submitted, sir.
You're not gonna make
If
us
we
back
were all,
down.
if we were all of your nature,
down.
Guys, listen.
You're
Let
not
me
gonna
say
save
this.
what a
us.
weak
Not
man.
Do you know who you're talking to?
you
don't, do you?
I'm talking to a black man.
You don't. No, you're not.
Okay.
You sit here, you talk about Trump.
But I am. You're not
Google
gonna
my
make me
name
back
and
down.
Trump. No. When you do that, my name is Bruce.
I agree with black males
No,
winning,
Google that.
but they're not winning
but
right
what
now.
You're doing,
They're becoming
but what
degenerates
you're doing
and murdering white people.
You're not helping America. You're no more patriotic than I am. No way.
Silent is
Where
not
were you on
helping.
January
You've been
6th?
silent. It's only gotten worse.
Where were you on January
just
6th?
been
You've been silent. It's only gotten worse.
Where were you? Did you stand for your country
So you
when they
think that
stole our
made you
vote?
patriot because you showed up there? Does that
tyranny.
make you a patriot?
Joe
What's your
Biden,
solution?
Joe
showed
Biden
up.
is a
All you're doing is
pedophile.
condemning us. What's your
My
solution?
solution is to help people where they're weak. So we have an issue in young black males' lives across the country.
It's not
It doesn't
Say that
matter.
to Jeff
Nothing's
Metcalf.
changed. It's
Say
getting
that to
worse.
Jeff Metcalf.
We talk about it, man.
Say it.
At the end of the day, the man is asking. So let me ask you this: you got a father who's grieving, and your response is he's weak.
My father is celebrating my strength right now.
You have no idea. You'll never win the Senate. And what I'll do, I'll come to Florida and run for Senate and run as a Republican, and I'll kick your butt.
No, you lose, bro.
You need 2 years of presidency in Florida.
Because this behavior is why we're in the situation where we are.
No.
We get these. Is that what it is? Okay. Well, at the end of the day, he's asked you what to do and what not to do.
Listen,
you have a right to
he's
do it
no
or not
longer
do it.
You can say not talk about Austin Metcalf, but we're gonna continue
know
this
Austin.
movement.
I love somebody
You
enough
love
to
the
be
thought
strong
of using
with.
Austin
No.
for T-shirts, for propaganda, and to get out here and talk about
You
who
want to
you
shut
are.
down a
I'm
white
not
man
raising
right
money.
now. That's what
I'll
you're trying
shut
to
you
do.
down, ain't
I'm
you?
not
you're not
raising
shutting me
I'm not
down.
raising money like
Because
Karmelo
I got
Anthony.
family.
I'm not
not
raising
gonna
money
be
like
put down
Karmelo
anymore.
Anthony.
No, bro, you stop. You
You
came here to try to shut him down.
No, I
That's
came
what
here to
this
give him
is.
a message from a father.
And listen,
but I realized
Nah,
that's
bro.
not his deal.
Let's be
message-
honest. You're a black man trying to shut him down.
I'm gonna
So I'm really looking to hear from you guys on this one. Because look, you all know I keep it real here on this channel. You guys come here for honest opinions, and I give them to you. But at least in this situation, and I have not felt like this many times since I've been here on YouTube, but in this situation, I almost feel as if it's not really my place right now to give my unfiltered opinions and take on what we just saw and on how Austin Metcalf's father is reacting to this tragedy. I feel like I'm not really in a position to judge how a person responds to the tragic murder of their child. I'm not in the position to judge. You know what I mean? I have my thoughts, I have my opinions, but sometimes some things are better left unsaid. But what I will say is this. I would be reacting to this situation much differently than he has. But like I said, everyone handles things differently. And regardless if I agree with this or I disagree with that, what I'm not going to do is sit here and bash or condemn or criticize someone who just lost their child. So what I do want to do here, though, is I want to just be fair. I want to look at this situation from two different perspectives. From one perspective, you got to understand, as far as I know, and as far as what Austin Metcalf's father has said, he doesn't know these people who have organized this protest. He hasn't been in communication with them at all. So even if you agree or disagree with the protest, it probably would feel weird that there's people organizing a protest about your child that just got murdered without your involvement at all. So, yeah, that's kind of like weird vibes, right? Also, like I stated earlier, I don't know these people who organized this protest, and neither does Austin Metcalf's dad. Just like I was skeptical about what could go down here, about what the actual agenda or motive is behind all of this, maybe Austin's dad is as well. Maybe Austin's dad felt like this is a Fed psyop too, and he doesn't want some type of race war breaking out that's attached to his son. Right? Like, we got to be fair here, and we got to look at things from multiple angles. That's what we're doing. This is not necessarily my concrete opinion on the situation that we just watched play out or the conversation that was just had. I'm just looking at things from multiple angles, and I think that everyone should if you're trying to be fair. So, Austin Metcalf's father doesn't really know what's going on here. So you can't expect him to just put all of his support behind these random strangers that he thinks or feels may be just taking advantage of the situation. Because he doesn't know, just like we don't know. Most of you all probably didn't even know these people existed until like 2 days ago. The people who are organizing this event. Now, I know one of them was locked up for January 6th. I get it. But I think the father is in a position where it's like, hey, you're organizing events, attached to my son, and I don't know who you are. I don't know what can happen, and I just don't want any drama or violence surrounding my son or the death of my son. Now let's look at it from a different perspective. Hearing the conversation can definitely be kind of frustrating. Because regardless of how you feel about this protest, there are very valid points being made about violence being committed against white Americans. That's actually happening. We are seeing white kids attacked every day. We're seeing Asian people attacked every day. We're seeing people pushed in front of the subway trains. We're seeing kids jumped at school, kids getting stabbed in the heart. Literally, someone's head almost got hacked off the other day and he just died randomly. So we are witnessing a real problem play out here. So I don't think that we can deny that, right? So I think that some people are frustrated by the fact that Austin Metcalf's father will not acknowledge this problem, especially considering the fact that he just lost a son because of this problem. And when parents with kids who have been murdered due to these senseless acts of violence, when these parents take it lying down and take these soft positions against the people murdering their kids, they do not make the problem any better. They make the problem worse, and they make society even more dangerous for everyone else's kids. So what I think people are really wondering here, honestly, deep down, is where has Austin Metcalf's father's energy been when it comes to Karmelo? Because he has been nothing but nice, soft-spoken, caring, sympathetic, forgiving, and understanding when it comes to Karmelo, his child's murderer, and Karmelo's family. But when it comes to these people, mind you, they're strangers, who are at least supposedly taking a stand for his son, he's all angry, he's irate, he's yelling, he's mad. And I think people are just wondering, hey, where has this anger been for the person who murdered your child? Because look, I can't judge him for being angry about the protest, right? I can't judge him for that. And I laid out multiple reasons why he maybe has feelings or negative feelings towards this protest. Totally understandable. But if you're going to voice your anger for this protest, if you're going to voice your anger against people who are taking a stand for your son, and you're not going to voice this anger, you're not going to speak out and condemn the fact that Karmelo Anthony's family is out here doing photo shoots with rappers and selling t-shirts, calling their son a hero for killing your child, making hundreds of thousands of dollars from the murder of your child? You're not showing any anger. You have nothing to say about that. But you have all of this built-up rage to express towards people who are supporting your son, or at least supposedly supporting your son. So yeah, I do think that it's weird. I don't know what other way to put it. I don't want to say too much here because I'm trying to be nice, but it's definitely an interesting reaction. It's very interesting to see, in my opinion. Because you see, this is like the second or third time that he's made like sort of angry comments about not making things racial and being upset about people making things racial. And he keeps making these comments directed at people who are actually standing up for his son and standing against what happened to his son. He's making these comments directed at people who are simply condemning the violence that has been committed on such a wide and broad scale against white people in this country recently. He's aiming these comments at them and not aiming them at the people who are online making fake police reports about Austin being a racist bully, right? He's directing this anger towards people who are trying to take a stand for his son. And he's saying oh, y'all are making things about race and all of this stuff. And he's totally ignoring all of the Karmelo Anthony supporters who are online every day, literally making fake Instagram accounts with fake posts to make his son look bad, demonizing his son, dragging his son's name through the mud, saying everything they can possibly say about him, literally creating fake police reports, fake autopsy reports, saying the most racist stuff they could possibly say, calling him every racial slur under the freaking sun. But when white people have a problem with it or say something against it, apparently Austin Metcalf's father does not like that. You guys have been here following this story. You've seen the hatred that has come from the community that is backing up and supporting Karmelo Anthony. The hatred is clear as day. I find it hard to believe that Austin Metcalf's father does not see this hatred, especially because he's been swatted and stuff like that. But still, even now, it seems like a lot of his anger in this case is being misdirected. It really does. I'm sorry, I hate to say it, but I feel like it's definitely being misdirected. Because I can't tell him how to feel about this protest. I can't tell him how to feel about that. But if he has strong feelings about these things, I would think that he should have strong feelings about what Carmelo Anthony's supporters have done to his son after his death. I'm not even talking about the murder. I'm talking about the reaction to it. How Carmelo has been propped up as a social media star, a hero, a civil rights icon, while this community has turned his son into a meme. I can't even begin to show you the things that they've said online about him. And I think it would be nice for Austin's father to acknowledge that as well. But hey, he's going to react how he reacts. And for the most part, we can't really judge him for that. I feel terrible for him. I feel terrible for his family. He and his family are in my prayers. And I hope that he gets justice for his son. And I hope that he actually wants justice for his son. Because at this point, I wouldn't even be surprised if he was happy if Carmelo got off. Because right now, I'm having a hard time reading where he's really at in this whole story. But this will probably be my last time speaking on at least that aspect of the story. You guys let me know how you guys feel about this, though, down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.